Welcome back. We have with us Parker, who's going to tell us when I tried to hack a Friel machine and what that taught me about OSINT and life. Now, I have no idea what a Friel machine is. It's been bothering me since the CFP got submitted. I didn't want to Google it because I didn't want to ruin the surprise. So, Parker, please take it away and please tell us what a Friel machine is.
Will do. Good afternoon, pasta pals and spaghetti gals. Name is Parker, and we'll just get right into the slides. So, to start off, a bit about me. I got my undergraduate in network security, currently attending school for a master's in cyber defense. Uh, Not sure why they let me back in, but I'll take it nonetheless. My main interests are in open source software. I am very into the Minecraft project, which is kind of like a Google Home or an Alexa if it didn't work as well, but respected your privacy. I always figured I was fairly introverted, but then I moved on in life and found I'm fairly extroverted. And the previous assumption was just because nobody in my high school liked me. And I personally view that I have a lot of things to learn. Affectionately refer to myself as smooth brained. I might know a couple things, but there's plenty more out there for me to learn. And the picture there of the horribly ruined art piece is because in a speech class in college we were told to make a collage, and I didn't know what a collage was. I asked someone, and they said it's a picture that's got a lot of pictures of you and stuff about you to kind of summarize your personality. And this is what I came up with. I feel like it encapsulates things well enough. But you're not here to just hear about me. You're here to hear about for real machines. But what exactly are for real machines? Well, what if you took ice cream and ruined it in a way? When you go to a gas station, just something like that, you'll often see these for real machines there. It's a freezer full of these cups that have a very solid ice cream composite in there. You take one of those out, you put it inside that cup that you see in the bottom left hand part of it, press one of those buttons to tell it how thick you want it to be blended. Then the cup goes up behind that screen and blends it. You then take it to the counter, pay for it, and there you go. You got ice cream in a cup. That screen there is supposed to draw your eye in by playing little different animations of the various flavors that they have, trying to promote it. I make fun of it a lot. I have ate a lot of them, though. They're not good, they're just there. Some further examples of these machines. There's some out there that don't have a screen, there's some that are more complex than this, but odds are if you go to a gas station somewhere in the United States, you'll see one of these. They are fairly widespread. And if you get the chance to try one, do it at least once, just so you can get an understanding of what what the hell is this thing. But what interested me and my friends about this is, well, rather how it got started was I went to a rather small school in a small town with only one place that was open 24 hours a day, and that was a gas station. A friend of mine got a job there, and so he would be there late into the evenings as well. The rest of us, if we can't sleep, we just are up late working on homeworks or projects, we would take a break, walk down to the gas station, get some snacks, hang out with our friend for a bit, kill some time. These machines do break occasionally, as anything does. And one time, the screen on one of the machines wasn't working. So, friend went over, reached underneath it, and flipped the switch to turn it off and on again. But when it was booting back up, we noticed that for a brief moment, it showed us something that looked like a Linux like bootloader. And that got our minds going, thinking, is there an underlying operating system underneath this? Is there something more to this? What all could we do? So we began looking into this situation. Uh, our stated goal at the beginning was to get a copy of the operating system that is running on there. We didn't know anything else about it, we just know we wanted it. So condensed, that idea was get a copy of the ISO so we can install it on a computer, with the hopes of our research being that if you installed it on any generic PC, the OS would recognize the CD bay as a blender. So to get started on that, it turned into calling for real to try to talk to their support to see if we could get the ISO. That did not work, and we probably confused a lot of their support staff. All in the name of research, very important research, learning a whole lot, getting a deep inspection of the company to understand more. Uh, More phone calls were made, more chats were made, trying to see if we could find a way into their programming department to see if anybody there could help us out with it. And we just kept trying to go further and further to see if we could get into the company somehow to get more information. Um, what we eventually summarized was what of the ways to be able to get into it if we can't get into the company was a small set of potential vulnerabilities they might have. So the first of these was physical. Um, I know some of you might have just learned what for real is, but it's the old physical penetration testing adage of, do you know what a bank inspector looks like, what a for real machine repairman looks like, anything like that? You probably not, and nobody else really does. You just grab a pair of khakis, a shirt that looks like the same color as the brand, with a clipboard and maybe a bag of tools, go into a gas station, say, your for real machine's been acting up. I've been sent by the company to take a look at it. Here, sign here. They sign a thing so they can feel like it's official. Two good things could come from that. You get physical access to the machine to do further inspection, further research, potentially a backdoor. Plus, if you make it legit enough, you could probably grab a whole bunch of those for real cups and make out with some nice ice cream yourself. The other way we figured its potential to compromise one of those machines is based off of the way the splash screens work, the screens that show you all the new flavors and stuff. Uh, I doubt for real would make the bargain or the bet that gas station Wi-Fi is reliable enough to uh, keep those things connected, because those machines update with new flavors whenever they come out, whenever they're deployed. But nobody at the gas station would be trained to do that. Nobody knows anything about that. So that leads to the assumption that there is probably a very cheap wireless connection to a cell tower nearby. Probably whatever for real was able to negotiate on the cheap end with a regional or nationwide cell provider. So that introduces the potential of a stingray to intercept that connection, making a fake cell tower and seeing what kind of connection you could intercept. As that leads to further things of, if those animations are sent over the internet, they're coming from a server somewhere, and that server's receiving them from somewhere else, probably somewhere inside for real's network. This is a bit of a jump and I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but I'll explain why in a minute. But if you could get into that server, which I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say is probably some S3 bucket out there, then you could potentially make your way back into for real's network and laterally escalate yourself to the point where you have access to their copy of the operating system that is flashed on those machines. Or you could purchase a for real machine for yourself. However, we were broke college students, so we didn't have the couple thousand of dollars to buy an ice cream machine for the lulz. The reason I didn't want to try to do these while I was in this project was because I didn't want to go to ice cream jail. As this picture denotes, this is what ice cream jail looks like. And this is a bit of a divergent thing. While I was researching this, creating the slides for this rather, I was looking up pictures to demonstrate ice cream jail, and I found this one. I have no idea what's going on here, but I think this does summarize the concept of ice cream jail fairly succinctly. But this question kept coming back to myself as I was doing this project of why are you doing this? You're wasting a lot of time on this. You should be focusing on school. You should be focusing on job applications. This isn't doing anything to progress your career. And this comes back to that I, in general, am a very anxious person. I worry and don't ever make a, in the cases where I worry far too much, I almost or do talk myself out of making a change in a situation, but I never come up with an alternative that makes something better. So in those cases, I always feel like I'm doing the wrong thing, but I never progress it. But what's important about this project is that it didn't have to be anything monumental or world changing, but it was my first foray into doing open source intelligence gathering. I had never done this before. And I mean, there's a lot of things I did wrong, but I still did it. And I learned a whole lot. I got to practice with different ways of calling the company or different ways of negotiating that conversation. I got to look into how the different ways the machine could be compromised and what potentially could come from that. Those aren't things that I considered, but this dumb project enabled me to think about and to work on. And that's something I've carried with me. I from that point on, every time I've gotten the chance to really research a company or research a topic, I really look into it. I want to figure out what they're doing, what their history is, what technologies they're using. And that's very, very greatly further to my career. I am now in a position where I am the self-appointed security person at the company I work at. There was nobody there who was doing security, and when I joined to be doing DevOps for them, I said I'll do security, and they said, okay. So now under my wing, I've taken various dumb projects like trying to deploy. I shouldn't call these dumb. Trying to deploy a host-based intrusion detection system across our endpoints and servers using Wuzza, or trying to deploy Keycloak so we can have SSO, or using Go Fish to do a phishing campaign against ourselves, or leading the phishing investigations for when we do get them to figure out how we can best remediate those types of situations. All of this was spurred on because I thought, why did the funny ice cream machine have the Linux on it? So the moral of this project was, and it's something I still have to remind myself very frequently, is do weird projects. They don't have to mean anything, but they help immensely with teaching you more. I hope this talk went long enough. I feel like a bit rushed through it, but oh well. Here are some of my links if you wish to contact me through any of these mediums. And I would like to add one last note before we go into Q&A, that we are in a position, us in the realm of not just security, but in technology in general, we're in a very privileged position to be able to use our minds as our main driver for our career rather than our physical health. So that is something we should all take care of very deeply, or care very deeply about. Taking care of your mental health, taking care of the mental health of others is very important. And I want to serve that. I want to help remind everybody of that. And I'd like to also offer me as someone you can talk to if you ever need to, whether you feel like you need someone to, I'm diverging there, if you need somebody to talk to. And you can shoot me a message on Twitter, message me on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, or if you ever feel like it, drop me a careless whisper. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you did it. That was awesome. Listen, Parker, thank you so much. For anybody watching this, we attend, we drink and stuff at InfoSec Happy Hour on a Friday night. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago from today, the date this is broadcast. This guy shows up, plays Careless Whisper on the saxophone because I played it on the soundboard. That was it. soundboard is no longer necessary. This guy's a walking soundboard. Hey, listen, Parker, I really enjoyed that. I specifically enjoyed your references to like turning up and kind of frail khakis and the kind of similar color shirt. Something really similar happened to me a few years ago. I used to have a blue t-shirt and I'd wear like a hoodie and kind of zip it down to about there. The blue t-shirt was the exact same shade of blue as the Apple Store employees blue. And when I went in to get some stuff, people would come up to me and go, "Hey, I know you're on your lunch break, but where's this thing?" And it just kind of, things like that make you think of, well, okay, I can kind of pass myself off as maybe an employee. It won't last very long, but it's kind of cool. Love to talk. Finally found out what a Frio machine was. If anybody's got any questions for Parker, get them in now quickly. But the responses on Twitch have been amazing. Just people going, yes, awesome, 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 awesome. It's fantastic. Sean, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to add, like, really awesome talk. What I love most about this talk, not the fact, well, the fact that it was just like so open and transparent, but also the fact that I think it's actually really well timed, that a lot of the things that you've mentioned kind of tie a lot of the things that have been mentioned in other talks. So things like grabbing things by the horns, taking opportunities, something you've done, just trying to do things, even though you may not be the expert at times or something like that. Just go out there, do it. And I think you summed it up really well, and full kudos to you for doing that. It's really encouraging to see people doing that and getting into the industry and just going, you know what, I'll take that up. I'll be the security person. We need more people like you in the industry.
On the note of taking things up and trying things, I've been desperate to make a podcast, but all of my close friends who are in security are very quiet and don't want to be recorded. So if anybody wants to make a security podcast, please DM me.
Excellent. Listen, I just to double down, I'm going to go there. Just to double down on what Sean said. Yeah, the passion is dripping off you, man. You can feel that. The call out at the end, awesome. Just yeah, the fact that you're taking on all this extra stuff as well. I mean, you're busy enough as it is, and you're taking on, hey, I'll be your security person. I'll do it because if I don't, no one will. That's really something to look for. You're a machine, man. You're a machine. Love it. No, genuinely, really massive respect, massive kudos. Someone hit Parker up and go and record a podcast with him.
I agree. Do it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
No worries.
And thank you, BeerCon or Beer Farmers, for giving me this opportunity to ramble for a while about ice cream machines and play a wonderful song.
Anytime, man. You're more than welcome to come on to any event we have and just play your sax, man. That we would love that. We would genuinely love that. Listen, Parker, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. Do hang around. Yeah.
Thank you.